Hello, hello. It is Friday, and I want to welcome you to this presentation. This is the time together. I am Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art. I am going live these last few days to share some tips in that as far as creating mixed media. Yesterday, I came on and we created the beginnings of what we will be finishing up today. Making some flowers, creating using tissue paper. And that was a lot of fun. And I actually ended up using those a little bit last night. What I've gone ahead here is I've gotten out my paper and I've gone ahead and I wanted to have a lot of working surface here today. And so instead of using the masking tape or the painter's tape, I went ahead and used my washi tape because it's a little and thinner, and it doesn't always give as nice of a crisp edge, but it'll do a pretty good job sometimes. Welcome to whoever's here. Please put your name or at least say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're from. I always love to say hello. I want to welcome you on. We've got more joining us here, and I'm glad to have you. So go ahead and put your name in the comment. Let me know where you're from in that. I am actually streaming this into a couple of places, and it's possible that if you're in my group, the way Facebook has this set up nowadays, I'm not able to see some of those comments. So we'll see how that works. But I am here to answer any of the questions you have as I'm opening up my membership and my art group and welcoming new people in. I love creating art, and I find that for myself, when I am creating, I am in such a good space. I have so many different things that happen throughout my day that I'm sure all of you do, that can really create a block so that by the time the end of the day comes or later in the day comes, those creative juices can just be drained. Our mind, everything is a little exhausted. And I find that when we go ahead and sit down and start creating, then it just opens up those blogs. Hello from Michigan. Hi, Mariana. Good to have you here. And Holly, I'm glad you're here today. Happy Friday. Thank you for popping in and joining us. I'm glad you're here. We're going to be finishing this up, and I want to show you what I ended up creating last night. I found you might have gotten an email from me early this morning. I was up late sending it out because I thought, this is a really important piece of information. And I was able to zone into what it is. There's so many people out there that we can learn from and create and gather information from. And the one thing I know that I have to offer, besides just different techniques and encouragement, is that ability to create a group where a person can come to and feel that security, feel that, I'm with common people here. And we have formed a little group. We actually get on Zoom once a week and just chat. There's a few of us that get on and we just chat. It's open to everyone, but whoever can show. And it just really boosts the day to know that there's others out there that you can connect to that like what you like. All right, let's get going a little bit here because your time is precious. And I'll be speaking more about this in a minute. This is what we're going to finish up with today. And yours will look different. I'll explain why mine looks such in a few minutes. I want to share with you, like I just mentioned, this is last night as I got through taking care of, I had a lot of different people's needs and that I was taking care of. And I was feeling by the end of the evening pretty exhausted. And I knew that if I could just sit down, do something, I would be able to just relax, you know what I mean? And give myself a little bit of me time. But you're always feeling like, I just want to sit in front of TV. I just need to chill. I just need to veg. But that's not always that healthy for me. So I decided, you know what, Kathy? You have all of these wonderful pieces that you have been creating here. Let's just, don't sit and try to figure out a beautiful composition or anything, just start putting them on. Just start playing with them. And as I did that, uh, it was so relaxing to just lay them down and just watch how they, started interacting with each other. And of course, I did video it. So you will find that video in the email. You can click on and watch it. But for me, these colors are invigorating. And so just surrounding myself in color and being able to look at that and enjoy and realize, you know what? You created that. And give myself a little pat on the back uh, was very invigorating and relaxing. So I wanted to throw that into you. Another thing that I would like to do before we start is kind of you are new here. I don't know if any of you were here with me the last time I did this, but I don't do this all the time with my members, but I do offer this for them. And that is to kind of set the mindset of what it is that we're, really wanting to accomplish as the day goes on. And tonight, one thing that I'm offering is a Zoom call where I'm going to go in and share some of those. I've got a section in here. Let me see if I can show it to you. Okay, give me 1, 2 seconds. Share screen. Share screen. Health blooms here. Kathy's okay. Let's see if you can see this. Please let me know. I hope you can. I think you can. This is our little art village. And I've set this up so that the artists have an easy place to go to find what they are looking for. If they're looking for the calendar for the new month, it's here. I always send out the emails, but do you lose things in your emails? Mine do sometimes. So I've got that. We've got our community center that helps you get to the Facebook if you're having troubles with that. Our library, which is the key spot, the big hangout where all of our classes are. And it clicked it right over to that. But I'm going to back that up if I can and take you back to the little village here. There we go. The cultivating is a special section in our group that I have for. Let's see if that pops up here. I hope you can see that. Let me know really quick if you could. I'm going to look in the comments. Can you see? Nope, you don't seeing that one. So let me go ahead and add this one. This is what I want to share with you right now because we're going to set our mindset. All right. I know it is extremely important to do so. And give me a second. I've got to go back to my StreamYard. There we go. Let's go back to presence sharing screen. It always takes a second, and I appreciate your patience. There we go. There. You should be able to see that now. Health blooms here. This is on our little page, our place, our little art village. And it is an important spot. All right. This place is something that I have given to the members that they have access to just help to handle the different stresses that occur. Things that I have gathered over the years, and I'm just sharing it with them. For example, music. My husband, as I was working with individuals, I told you yesterday that for 20 years I've worked in the field of positive psychology, and I've loved doing that. I've retired from that as such, but all the music and that was created. My husband is a professional musician. I put in a library for the women to use, just relaxing type of things, invigorating types of things, things that they can benefit from. This creative reminders right here is a library. It's a library of words and phrases to help set our mind in a really positive direction. And I don't really do this often with my group, but I believe what I'm going to start doing is probably once a month we meet on Zoom and we have a little time doing this. I'm going to leave it up to them. But today we're going to start with that and just set a few things. in the library, if you remember, if you're old enough to remember a library that had the numerical, um, all the little numerical things where you would go look for your book and you would, try to find that book, and that's how this is set up. So it's easy to find. And on my phone, I have the ladies put a little icon on the front of their phone so that they can easily get to their um, little village easily and get to it right there. So let me open this up. Let me open up. And I'm going to ask you. I've already got a couple. I've got two of you on here right now that I can see, and there's probably others listening on the other area that I don't. I'm not able to receive. But give me, if you were to think about maybe just something in number wise, in the groups of somewhere between 400 and 500. If you were to think of just first number that pops to your mind, what would be a number? Just put it in the comments right there, and I'm going to look it up. And we're going to see what type of what comments are there and what might be helpful to set a mindset. For the 400s, as I've categorized them, it is words to empower and motivate. And that is actually important today as we're doing this. I want to empower you and motivate you. So, any of you have something that pop in your head? If I don't see it really quick, then I'll just pick one myself. Anywhere from 400 to 499. Let's see. Kind of 451. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to the library and looking up what comments, because I put them under numbers. It's easier to find that way. Forgot what I even said to you a minute ago. 451. Was that what I said? Okay. And 426, Holly, I'll look up that in a second, but I'm going to thank you for posting that. Thank you. 451, I have a strong sense of reassurance. I know I have support because God has my back. I am choosing to be in tune with the promptings that I feel within. I trust God's guidance. I am being guided in my goals and desires. I love that. And this always tends to be, this is a good one. I love to sit and read and just kind of ponder, a little bit about and think about throughout the day, because it's really good for replacing worry or any of those feelings that you're nervous or anything like that. So that's a great one. Okay, Holly, let's look up 426. 426, today, instead of focusing on what I think I lack, I will express gratitude and humility for all that God has given me. I feel a brightness of hope, which enlivens all of the spiritual gifts I have within me. I have an inner knowing that my needs and wants are being met. Thank you. I love that one. I want to focus on that one as we're and kind of set that as our intention as I'm going forward with this particular class today, that knows that I feel a brightness of hope which enlivens all of the spiritual gifts I have within me. We are artists, and those are gifts from God, and I am so grateful for that. I have an inner knowing that my needs and wants are being met. So let's just set that as our intent, and thank you so much, Holly, for giving me that to look up. All right, so that just gave you a little quick idea of what is in that the members have access to. Besides all the art classes and that we do, we always try to stay in a really positive mindset. And let's see if I can move out of these here. There we go. We are back. And welcome to our new person that's joined us here. Thank you. Put your name in the comment and say hello. Tell us where you're from. All right. We are going to just get busy here. And with that, the mindset and feeling like we can do this. A lot of times when you sit down to create art, it's like, oh, can I really do that? Let me tell you about, and I'm going to just take myself down a little bit on this screen here. There we go. When I was putting this together, we'll do the background first, and then we come back in. And as I started looking at this and starting to figure out where I was going to place the flowers, etc., this collage, I love mountains. And so obviously my mind starts looking and I can see the way the paper was laid that it created this little rough edge right here underneath the paint. And all of a sudden, and this is the beauty of this this mind that God has given to us, it started to just visualize a mountain. All right. And so I just started just drawing, just squiggly line, just a squiggly line. We know a mountain goes up and comes back down, right? That's all it does. Goes up, comes back down. Some go up, go across and down, but mine go up and come back down. And so I drew that in there. So I'm telling you this because yours does not have to have a mountain. Your garden may just be all the beautiful flowers all across. You may want to not even create a visual where it looks like a scene. You might want to create something more loose and illustrative, more something that's organic like this. So I want to give you artistic license to, as I'm working with you today, go with what you feel that you want to create. All right. There is no limits. You can always create however you want. I am using, I'm going to put that aside, grab the book so you can see. I'm using this mixed media. It's a 98 pound. I like to use this one at times because I can pull out the pages and lay them flat. Whereas like this one, when I created, you've always got this little edge right here that you're kind of dealing with, right? You're not necessarily fighting with, but you are, you've got it to manage. I'm going to show you one more. This is an image that I created earlier this week using some of the tissue pieces that I was just playing with. And of course, as you can tell, there's my mountains again. But I just started laying down tissue pieces and some of them that I'd already, and then I came back over it and doodled. So the sky's the limit on what you want to create here. Take this is a book this comes from a 7x10. Let me grab my supplies. What we're going to need to accomplish this is our flowers. We don't need our templates, so I'm going to set those aside. I've got all of my little tissues here in case I want to add something else to it. We're going to use, I'm going to use actually some pages from a book here that's just an old music book that I like to pull pieces from. And I've got also some other cut sheets. Here we go. Some other just printed paper. So if you have some printed paper, hi, Mom, from Texas. Thanks for joining. If you've got some printed paper, you can use that too. I mentioned that yesterday. So it's going to be very few supplies that we need, but we're mostly going to focus on our garden here and putting down our tissue paper. Let's start with our background. Now, I did not gesso this, but I would suggest if you're using something that's not heavy like watercolor paper and that, to possibly go ahead and gesso it, give it a nice little surface over the top. But I did not on this one. I'm going to go ahead and just start collaging. Who is working along with me? Is anybody creating theirs along with me today? I'm going to take off these hard edges. They tend to blend in easier, and I really like the effect of that. Tell me about what it is that you enjoy creating. Have you... Let's see, let's rip that down a little bit rather than just one big piece right there. Let's split it up a little. Okay, we'll place that like so. That's got a neat edge on there. That paper, can you see what I'm looking at? See, it's just the way it ripped. It left the underside of the paper. And I really like taking those and inking those a little bit. Just give that. Let's do that. That just crossed my mind. It's going to be a little bit different than what the last one, which is fine. I'm get a couple of these pieces to start with. And let's ink that. I've got this ink right here. And I'm just experimenting. And that is the beauty of mixed media. For any of you that have joined this little workshop and you're brand new to mixed media is about experimenting and just trying new things. I think you're more not concerned, but more focused on experimenting and going with what kind of comes to your mind at the time than it is about the finished product and creating something that, is perfect and a masterpiece. And as you continue to work with it, you typically find that it does turn into something perfectly beautiful. So that's why I do love mixed media is it's unpredictable at times. You go through stages where they call it the ugly stage. And that's basically with any medium that you're using. If you're a painter or anything, there's a stage that's called the ugly stage. And, you get started and all of a sudden you're working and you're going, oh my goodness, this is not working out. I don't know if this is going to be, what this is going to turn out like. And it can be a little bit scary. You're thinking to yourself, I'm not too sure about this. And you just work through that. You keep working through that. And as you do that, you come out the other side and it's magical. It is just magical what happens. All right. I'm using my Liquitex matte medium. I use that for my glue. And you're taking notes. Awesome. I hope that what I'm saying here, Holly, is noteworthy. All right. This poor little brush needs to be thrown away because it has so much on it. It's starting to just really, it becomes so harsh and that it's hard to work with. Let me see. I do like to use, this one's a little bit short. What else do I have? There it is. Let's use this today. I don't see I've also got my spatula. This is a great thing. It's a little turkey spatula. Okay. I like using this because I can hold it and angle it just the right direction. Sometimes I will start a sentence and I don't finish it. So please catch me on that and post in there. Finish what you're, because I'll get thinking. I'll start saying something and then all of a sudden my brain takes off and it's thinking about what it's creating at the moment and it stops the sentence. Okay, we're just going to start collaging on here. And if you're a person who likes steps and likes it like a recipe, then I would say that the first step is to put, edging. If you're going to use that around, put edging on. Second step is to look at the colors that you want to use. Think about the color combinations and come up with a color scheme, just as I did. Where's my page? I came up with a color scheme the other day. I showed you that yesterday. So think about the colors you want to use, and that will help you to narrow things down, because that is one of the tricky parts of being in creating art, is there are so many choices and so many things that you can choose from that it creates overwhelm and almost paralyzes us at times, I find, at least for myself, because I'm thinking, I don't know what to choose. I don't know what to choose. Too many things to choose from, right? You're like a kid in a candy store and your, parent just said, pick one. And there's like 30 choices. And it just so happens that 25 of them are your favorite, right? So find yourself a color scheme. I think that's a great mix. Then, and I'm talking specifically, I'm looking at this project, but there's many ways of going about this. This isn't set in stone. I determined that my subject matter, what I wanted mostly to be my focal point, is I wanted it to be like in a garden. I didn't know how exactly. And today I'm not even sure how this will be. I may change it up, I may not, but in a garden was my focus. You might say my theme. There's a good word, my theme. And so every piece of work, it's advised that it has a focal point. Why do we need a focal point? Because it helps the eye, the viewer, to zero in on a particular part of your work. And then from that point, that area, you start using your colors and your textures and all those magical things we've been given here to play with, to work them around and to have them look at, move around your creation. And the key, the goal, is to keep someone's attention longer than just a quick glance and oh, that's nice, and then move on. If you can keep them for a few more seconds, you are successful. That's just my personal opinion, because there's so many things that grab our attention nowadays, and we're constantly working or having things say, look at me, right? Whoopsie. Let's put that right on the back of that. That'll make it easier. I don't have gloves on today, but I would advise, if you're doing this, to maybe just grab some if you've got some little gloves that you work with, because I tend to use my fingers a lot, just like you're seeing me right now. And this is glue, and it gets sticky on your fingers. And this morning I was actually, because of last night's project, peeling that off as I was doing that. Okay. Sometimes you just have to use those fingers, right? Because they work so perfectly. Hi, Lynn. You are never late to this party. I am so glad you joined us today. Did I see yesterday, Lynn, that you were working along with me? I can't remember if that was you or someone else. I remember the name, but I wasn't sure if that's exactly you or not. But how did it go? If it was you, my question is this: how did it turn out? Did you were you able to create those flowers? Okay. And this does take, this is the part of where artists are always saying the relaxing time, because it's like a kid that was you growing up. Do you remember, did you ever get to do finger painting? Did you ever get to play with finger paints, or was that something that you didn't get to explore and try? But if you did, you knew how that just, I'm going to turn that this way. Why? I don't know. It just felt like I should turn it that way. And that's what I encourage you with your art is a way of expressing emotion and feelings. It's getting a picture across, it's telling a story. It's so much more than just creating a picture. And let's see, I don't know why, but I want to put that up there. Did you just see what I did? I said, I don't know why. So I'm going to honor that thought, that feeling, and just do it. And I guess the reason I was thinking that is because, well, you're going to be putting blues up there. That's more like your ground and your grass, right? So logic steps in. Logic says, well, that's not where that goes. That should belong down here where there's, greenery and grass. Doesn't matter. What questions can I answer? Yes, I am. Okay. Good, you did. And I'm glad you're working today on this. Thank you. Okay, all right. I'm using my fingers just because it makes it a little easier to go over it faster. There we go. Okay. I'm going to call that done. Grab some towel here and wipe off my fingers and this. And then we're going to let that dry for a second. It's always a good idea to allow time for things to dry in between. And if you don't have the time to, to let it just sit and dry, then we pull out our handy dandy tool called the heat gun or the dryer. And we start holding it back. Don't get too close with a heat gun because that will burn. But just start to dry. Help it along. Work on the back a little bit. Okay, that's not 100% dry, but it's close enough and it works. Let me stick that back there. All right. Work on several at once. Not sure what are you working on? Lots of different projects. Lynn, is that what you're working on? All right. I'll watch the comments here. I am making my garden postcard size so I can send them to friends. That's awesome. Yes. I'm so excited to hear that you're doing that. That is super cool. All righty. Now, we've got this going along here, and it's time to work with the colors. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to follow what I did do before. And my color scheme for this particular one, besides the flowers, since I'm using my flowers and I want them to stand out, I want them to be, this focal point, you might say, of the work. I want them to, so strong. I'm going to go ahead and do the complement of these. And the complement of mine tend to be a little more orangey and salmon with a little pink in that, but more orange and salmon. That's a pretty one. I'm going to use blues because blue and orange are complement, correct? And then, of course, with the pink and the red, you've got your green. So I'm going to pull in the blues and the greens for my background. And that's what I'll put those upon. That will create that complementary combination and have them focused. They'll stand out more is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm going to show you the bottoms of these because you may not have the exact name and people get kind of hung up on going out and buying that exact type. But what I have here, this is a smoky blue. It looks almost like a baby blue in the camera, but it's more of a smoky blue gray. It's not super gray, but it is very soft. I'll tell you the name. It's in case you have it, but it's called Winter Blue, and it's by Deco Art Americana, and it's a smoky colored blue. This little beauty is just by Anita's, and it is called Heavy Fog. It too is a grade blue. I'm going to use, let's shake these up a little bit. I'm going to use a turquoise. Any turquoise will work. I just happen to have this one close by, Deco Art Laguna. Throw that in there because you got to have a little turquoise in all your work. I don't know. I love turquoise. Then this green here I love a lot. It is called Basil and it's by Anita's, but it's a warm green, and you'll see as I put it on my palette, which I have so many colors on here already. Let's put it over here in something that you'd be able to see it. This pink one. It's a little thicker because you can see I've had it a while, but there it is. Now I'm going to add to this my acrylic mediums because I want it. Acrylic paint tends to dry quickly. The mediums will help it to, stay wet a little longer so that you can blend and work with them. Also, it does create a little more transparency, and hence that's what I want because I've got my collage down here. I don't want to completely cover everything because then it defeats the purpose of even having that there. So I'm going to use this. Let's find a brush to mix that up with. I use this flat tip right here. We'll just mix that around, and I'm going to take a second, quit talking, and put all of them down so I have this palette ready to go. So there's my green. And I'm going to end up using this brush, so I always hate wasting the paint. If you don't want to put it on your paper, then by all means, maybe have another sheet over here next to you where you can wipe that off rather than just cleaning it with water and getting rid of it. So let me grab another piece of maybe tissue or something, and I'll use that here to wipe my paint off on. And add some down here on the bottom. Okay. This is how you can make your own, right? Your own painted pages, your own colored paper. Is many artists do that. That's nothing new, but all right, let's go now for our blues. And I'm just going to quickly put those in and mix those up a little bit. And then just a titch, a little dab-a-doo of this turquoise. Can always add more. So I mix this blue around. It's only been the last year or so that I've actually started adding this to my paints. I used to just water. I mentioned that yesterday too. I used to just water them down and thin them down with water. But I do enjoy using this a lot more. So you can see as I start putting this on a little bit, I'm just gonna, don't go in one direction, go in several directions, cross hatch, you might say, back and forth over each other. And what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off my brush here as I'm doing this, and I can go right over that edge because I've got it taped off. That's the beauty of that. Clean out that brush. You can see that's translucent. Let's go back here to this blue. Mix it up a little bit. I've got a lot of mix of the gloss medium in this one. Oops. Look what that did. A surprise for me. But I'm going to go with it. Because